Hey everybody, welcome back. It's finally time for another video. I know it's been a month or so since our last, but we finally have an update for you on the Batocera emulator PC. So as you recall in our previous episode of this series, this motherboard had some issues. We got Batocera installed, and as we were trying to set up all the drives, we had to do a couple restarts to get all of those drives recognized. And then in doing that, discovered that it wouldn't post anymore. It was going through a post loop where it wouldn't allow any user input, and it just kept cycling over and over and over again, beeping non-cessantly. So we ended up having to get another motherboard, and I figured instead of trying to stick with the existing Intel 3rd gen, this is, I believe, an X57? Sorry, no, 79, X79. We have decided to jump forward a little bit. So now we are on Intel 4th gen. So this is a really nice motherboard that I found on eBay. It's an MSI Z97 Gaming 5, so actually pretty feature-rich for the time. So as you can see there, it's got 6 SATA ports. It's got 3 sysfan headers, one here, and one here. It's got a lot of diagnostic ability. It's got an LED. It's got these diagnostic lights up here. Pretty good, high-end for the time. It's even got an M2 slot, which we're not going to be using that, but it's pretty cool. That was something that you didn't find on a lot of boards in 2014, I believe, when this was released. One thing that I thought was really nice, MSI did these Dragon heatsinks. That's a cool touch. Doesn't really matter, but I thought that was pretty cool. And we've got a new CPU for this as well, as it's a different gen. So we have upgraded to, let the focus hit there, an i5-4570T. So this is going to be pretty much I think this is the exact same CPU I have in Epona over there. So now we're going to have equal performance, which is good. So my friend, the client, should be able to enjoy all the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube games that I play on my Batocera build. So, nothing much else to say there. Quick intro. I'll be taking out the GPU. I'm going to have to take out the cooler, unfortunately. There's no way to get the board out without getting past these because this radiator blocks the motherboard screws. So that's okay. That's not too big of a deal. And then we'll unplug all the cables and drop the new board in. And then hopefully that'll solve the problem. So we'll cut to the time lapse here in just a second. I just want to say, hey, thanks to everybody who's been subbing. I think we're at, as of recording, we're at about 240 subs. So really appreciate the support. People have been really positive in the comments. If you could keep clicking like, that would really mean a lot to me. But okay, let's get started on this. I'll begin the process of swapping out this board. Okay, so slight issue I've run into, and I'm sure those of you in the comments will probably say, gotcha, I knew this was going to happen. I didn't consider this. The new board is actually socket 1150. The old one was 2011. I forgot that 3rd gen Intel is a fat boy. And but in my defense, after this 4th gen, they stayed with this socket for the next like 5 years. So I just assumed it was the same. Bottom line, this doesn't fit, and because it's an old 120 mil all-in-one, I certainly don't have the other one it came with, 10 years ago, or back in more than 10 years ago. I think this PC was from 2012 originally. So yeah, we're gonna have to lose this cooler, which honestly I'm kind of okay with. As some of you have pointed out in the comments, having a pump this old is well past its expected life anyway. So I just go in with a cheap thermal right tower cooler. That's all we need for this. I have a Cooler Master in Epona, and that works just fine. So yeah, so that'll be here either tomorrow or the day after. So we'll pick this video up when we got the new cooler, and we'll proceed with the motherboard swap. Well, here we are. The procedure was successful. Everything came together really nicely, and we finally got a fully working Batocera emulator. The nice thing is I didn't have a lot of wasted work from the last one because I was able to just plug in the existing SSDs and everything came right back. I still had to go through and finish my drive mapping from the previous video. That was a lot of, going to the command prompt, running a couple commands to find out the address of each drive, rebooting the system to relabel it. So that was kind of tedious back and forth, but they're all up now. Not a whole lot to show you on the actual emulator itself because the ROMs themselves aren't loaded onto it yet, so it's just a bunch of sample stuff. But it is fully functional. I tested the Wi-Fi, I tested the Bluetooth, everything's looking good. If you want to see inside the case one last time before I seal her up, we do have the GTX 960 in there. There's a light on the back from the exhaust fan, and then we've got the blue front fans as well as the light. The little blue LED on the top for the power light. So yeah, not anything close to modern RGB standards. Remember, this is a case from 2012 thereabouts, so definitely not a fully functional RGB setup, but a few lights anyway. And our new CPU cooler working just fine. Install for that one pretty smoothly. So yeah, just a lot of boring ROM transfers ahead. I've got this machine now on the network. It's talking to my server, so I'm getting all the ROMs moved over from my server, and then we'll be ready to actually test configuration. But that's going to wrap it up for this video series. Sorry about the delay. Took me quite a few months to finally finish off this last part of it, but if you'll recall, this series started way back in the early spring where we had those, we built those 2 gaming PCs. So this is the final result of that. We've got these leftover components, and we made it into an emulator PC. So I'll be ready to deliver this to the client. If you stuck through the series the whole way, appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and if you could just hit that like button, that would mean a lot to me. All right, thanks a lot.